Welcome to Hotline TV, everybody. I'm John Mercurio. Today we are fortunate enough to have with us House Race Hotline editor Tim Saad, the legend himself.
Fortunate indeed.
Hotline TV has missed you very much, Tim Saad.
Well, I've missed it.
All right, it looks like House Republicans are facing some big troubles in the once solid region of the South. First, let's talk about Texas 22, Tom DeLay's old district. Yesterday, former Congresswoman Shelley Sekula-Gibbs, former 7-week Congresswoman Shelley Sekula-Gibbs, lost to Pete Olson in a primary runoff. All right, Tim Saad, can you tell us a little bit about this race?
Absolutely. Now, there's one race where Republicans, you know, the NRCC is officially non-committal in primary races.
Sure.
And while the NRCC stayed out of this race, every Republican got in. John Boehner got in. Most of the Texas Republican delegation got in
on behalf of Olson.
Pete Olson, I'm sorry. Trying to keep out Shelley.
Why do they hate the woman so much? Why is it always about trying to keep the woman down?
Oh, I don't know what she would have done. She just angered everybody in the 7 weeks she was there. And they pretty much thought that they would not be able to win this race if she was in it, even though President Bush took 64% in 2004. It's such an overwhelming Republican district.
Look, and she did relatively well against Lamson last time, even though she wasn't even on the ballot, and you had to write her name, Sekula-Gibbs.
Sekula-Gibbs, exactly. I mean,
she only lost by how many?
She only lost by, it was like 5,000 or 6,000 votes, I believe.
So, okay, why the animosity?
She's still considered a
crazy.
Well, I don't want to say it, but you did. But I think the problem is, and it was seen through the runoff, that this guy is sort of not. Pete Olson is not well known. Didn't raised half as much money and spent half as much as she did, and yet he still beat her almost. It was 2-1, 68-31.
Anti-Sekula-Gibbs.
It was a huge anti. Yeah, exactly.
Still heavy. All right. Let's move on here. What are some of the vulnerable seats for Republicans in the Deep South? Now, if not Texas 22.
That's right, since we're moving to the Deep South. Obviously, number one on the Republicans' list right now in trouble is Louisiana 6, which is the special election to replace Representative Baker.
Sure.
And that is Woody Jenkins on the Republican side running against Don Cazayoux on the Democratic side.
Woody Jenkins, that takes me back to the 96 Senate race. 5,887 votes or something like that between him and Mary Landry.
And all the dead people that voted.
And all the dead people, and Papa Bear, and all those great stories I remember. And John Warner had to hold hearings on it. Yeah, it's a big deal.
So yeah, so Woody Jenkins is back, and with all the negative connotations that go with Woody Jenkins, even in the South, against Don Cazayoux, who's a conservative on social issues. Talks like a Republican would anywhere else. A very appealing fit in a district that is a Democratic registered district, as is most of the South, that wants to vote for a Democrat, I think, if given the opportunity, over a Republican who's not as desirable.
And Baker has been vulnerable before in the past against someone like Marjorie McKiffen in the ballot. It's a differently shaped district, but
it's moved around a bunch of times. But this one still should elect a Republican. It's no doubt. This district is a Republican strong district.
Interesting. What else? Other districts?
And other districts, Louisiana 4, which is Jim McCreary's district, he's leaving. That's an open seat. Democrats, again, have a very solid conservative candidate. Republicans don't have anybody.
Yeah.
And then Mississippi 1, a new poll out today shows, and that's the open seat for Roger Wicker, who's now the senator.
Senator Wicker, sure.
That shows that the Democrat there, again, another conservative, socially conservative Democrat, is beating a conservative, typical Republican. You know, and it's another trend we're seeing.
Yeah, why is that? Why all of a sudden are Republicans vulnerable in the Deep South? I mean, is that just is it a reflection of to the extent that they are in danger this year, that finally their last bastion, the last stronghold, is weak?
I don't think that's the case. I guess I just don't know yet. But I think that we're seeing Democrats finally recruiting strong Democratic challengers that fit their districts, as opposed to ones that sort of try to fit in, try to get the candidate and have the electorate fit around that candidate, which hasn't worked for Democrats. They're getting very strong candidates in the South. Whether they win or not, who knows? But it's certainly going to be it's certainly looking close as we sit now.
The Heath Schuler and Brad Ellsworth School of Thought. All right, well, what is that I hear in the background? It sounds like the sweet sound of banjo, which signals to us that we're out of time. Until next time, I'm John Mercurio.
And I'm Tim Saad. We'll see you next time on Hotline TV.